They speak up. They say something. They don't sit there and stay quiet and think, oh, maybe somebody will notice me. I'm going to tell you, ain't nobody noticing nobody who's willing to stay small. They ain't doing that. If you're willing to stay small, ain't nobody noticing you. Ain't nobody checking for you. People get opportunities because they outside. They doing stuff. Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to Poison Progress. I'm your host Aria, and today we are going to be deep diving into what it is to have the freaking audacity. Having the audacity, y'all. So if you have been thinking about your goals, thinking about how you can get there and everything in between, and there's just something not connecting, I want to put a different perspective on it today because I thought of it differently and it's literally changing my mind, right? As you guys know, TikTok, the media, everything is just going buzz right now. It doesn't matter if people are telling us that the world is ending, laws are being passed, people are getting cheated on. It's a lot of crap going on, right? I just think sometimes about certain things and why things are. And realistically, it's actually because people have the audacity to do them. And that can be in a good sense, and it can also be in a bad sense. So, for instance, y'all, everybody's on a I hate men train. And I will probably never come on here and really do any dating content or anything like that. That's just not my thing. But I will say, men do have the freaking audacity. They really do. And I always wonder, I'm like, why would, I would never treat somebody the way that, a man would do somebody else and everything like that. And I always wondered, why do they do that? Or why do they think that's okay? It's because literally they push somebody by their limits. They test to see where they're going to go. And they push past them. As I was watching the Diddy documentary, actually, on Netflix. And the whole time I was watching it, I said, this dude is smart. Mind you, Diddy hater right here. Do not like him whatsoever. But I do have to admit, the reason why he was able to get away with so many things is because he had the audacity to shake the room. And a lot of people don't have that, is what I'm noticing. And I know I kind of started this kind of negative because, not gonna lie, I think about it how does people like Trump get into the presidency and he's able to get 2 terms and yet he's done all these things? Or just how Elon Musk as well, all these people who have done bad things, or even slavery and stuff, how in the world did that stuff come about? Because me thinking here, I'm like, I would not want to inflict any type of pain on somebody else purposely or even accidentally, right? I do not care to see other people fail. I do not care to be superior to other people. I do not care to make anybody feel less than who they are, right? But other people do, and particularly men, but we're not going to go deep in that. Sorry for my male listeners, but I always wondered, how in the world were they able to do that? And it's because people will do what you allow. Okay? I'll say that again. People will do what you allow. So, tying this back into why you need to have the audacity, how I need to have the audacity, I was looking at my vision board, and if you do not have a vision board up by now, you are literally falling behind. So, you need to get on that really quickly. But because having a vision board, it really sets the tone for you every single day. You know exactly what you're executing on every single day, right? So I actually do my podcast in front of my vision board. So it kind of helps relax me while I'm talking to you guys so that, I feel more confident in what I'm putting out and everything like that. So as I'm looking at my vision board, I'm like, man, now I checked off some things, right? I did get into nursing school. I have been reading more. I have been doing more hobbies. I have been eating healthier-ish, like I've been checking off things. I started my podcast. That was something I really wanted to start this year. Like, I'm definitely checking off things off here, but there's the big things that are on my list that, looking at where I'm at right now, they kind of seem a little impossible. They seem like they're very far out of reach, right? And these past couple of days, I've actually been having trouble sleeping, and I really don't ever have trouble sleeping. But as I've been up because I couldn't sleep, I've been thinking, like, okay, what can I do during this time to elevate myself? And I am coming up with things that are more advanced. So I want to break down how my brain works a little bit. So when I'm chilling at home and I'm not watching TV, but I'm low-key kind of scrolling on my phone, but not really, my brain really starts working. It starts getting really creative, and it starts really figuring out a lot of things that I've been wanting. I really let it kind of just do its own thing. The issue that I come to every single time that I get these big ideas is I always tell myself that is something that can be happening next year. It can be happening like months later. I feel like God is really like putting it on my mind and my heart to execute those things at the time, but I will purposely put them back because I feel like God keeps giving me like visions of what I'm supposed to do, but to do them, I would have to have the audacity to shake the room. With that being said, that is a big block for myself, right? I've done quite a bit. You guys, if you guys have been listening, then your girl's like a busy bee. She does a lot of crap 24/7, right? The one area that is a big thing for me to fix is not only just visualizing myself where I see myself, but actively taking the big leap of faith, doing the hard part. And then the hard part for me is the connection part with other people. I think sometimes when we think about networking, especially for me, we think we have to get these huge, big CEOs and stuff like that to connect and network. But that's actually not how networking really starts. What I've learned is you have to learn how to connect within what your realm is at that time. Not always picking for the highest person just yet. People at where you are at now can help you get to where you're in those rooms, where you're with those people that you can really network with and can get you those deals or that acceptance into that school and stuff like that. But if you don't know how to talk and you don't know how to get what you want from even the level that you're at right now, how in the world can you expect to get it when the opportunity presents itself? When I say to have the audacity, I want you to look at some success stories, right? I feel like this podcast is talking a lot about how I break down people's success, and I break it down differently because there's always little secret entries that I think a lot of people overlook. They see the glitz and the glam. They see when they were down, and they see the next slide, they're up, right? They don't really know the in-between. And that's what I'm interested in, is the in-between, so that I know how to construct my life to where I can see the end. And in each of the stories, the big break was them finally letting go of their own limitations so that they can reach the highest potential that they can. They finally let go of that fear. They finally let go of that self-doubt that maybe I'll look stupid, maybe I'll look unsmart, or maybe I'm not supposed to be in this room, right? That's one big one for me. It's I want to bring race into it a little bit because you guys know I am a Black woman, and one thing that I never really seen as a disadvantage was my skin color. Now, is there disadvantages of being a person of color? 100% yes. But I chose to never let that be a thought in my head because that is a limiting thought for me. If I were to believe that as true, I would not push for as much stuff as I do. Now, do I see stuff that makes it kind of known? Yes. But do I think it actually affects my growth? Absolutely not. And you shouldn't either. Because at the end of the day, if God put it on your heart for you to do it, it's going to happen. But you gotta do the work. Sometimes with me having that thought and stuff, I still see it as a limitation. And sometimes I do see myself not really understanding how to come off to people or how to make myself more of a likable person. And the key is that I don't need to be a likable person. I need to be myself, right? Because being liked and being everybody's like perfect person is not ideal when you're going after your goals. You have to be a freaking shark. That's what I learned. So what I mean by being a shark, do I necessarily mean being rude, being stuck up, or really backhanding people? No. I seen this TikTok actually just a couple minutes ago where it was saying like, if you don't do what you were supposed to do, then God will give it to Prince. And if you don't know that reference, it's pretty much something what Michael Jackson didn't do. And so Prince got it instead because he didn't move on it quick enough. When you are going after your goals and what you're trying to pursue, you cannot limit any thought that is on your brain. Everything needs to be executed, whatever thought it needs to be. Because consistency is great. Consistency is going to make you more alert. It's going to make you more precise. It is going to elevate you. But if you do not have the audacity to take up space and to be that one, you will not get there with just consistency. There's like a saying that says like, it did take a little bit of luck. The luck is the person really putting their foot out to make it happen for themselves. And that looks so different for all of us because, we're all going after different things, but in a similar way. So I'll let you guys know a couple things that are on my vision board that I really want to do by the end of the year that would take a lot of audacity to take up space, right? So I would love to get invited to like a creator event or an event in general, like any event. Like I want to be asked to go, and I don't necessarily want to speak at said event, but I want to be in rooms where I can connect with people who are either on the same level as me or higher. I would also like to be asked to be interviewed or a guest on a podcast. That was something I really would like to do. And then I would also like to start doing teachings and courses and stuff for my esthetician business and like really deep diving into that. And so those were my things that I really wanted to execute that would take a little bit more energy out of myself. And after yesterday, I decided, okay, Arya, you always get to this point where you're on this really good momentum of building. And then when it gets to that part where it's like really the hard part, like I know how to do the consistent part. I know how to work hard. I know how to get stuff started. It's really when the big things have to go, it's really hard for me to be like, okay, I gotta kind of shake the room a little bit. Like I gotta go and be uncomfortable for a little bit. I have issue with wanting things to be perfect. And I'm in the middle of redecorating my suite right now. I've had it the same way for like about a year, and not gonna lie, was not supposed to stay that way. And I said, no, you need to finish an idea, right? And so I've had this whole entire plan of how I want to finish out this suite, And I bought retail, and one of the things I really, really wanted to start putting in my suite is retail. Like I need to start making money outside of behind the chair. Like it needs to happen, and it needs to happen now, right? So I bought retail, like skincare retail and also lash kit retail, and I had it sitting like in a box for like literally a month. Like, cause the goal was like I started thinking about redoing my suite at the beginning of April, and be done by the end of April. Let's just say, because I wanted to be a perfectionist and because like I low-key just did not feel confident in selling, I literally kept that in a box for a whole month, right? So Friday came around and I ended up like the night before I couldn't really sleep. So what I did was I went on Walgreens and printed out like some cute little aftercare notes for all of my services. And I finally assembled like the lash kit and stuff like that. I said, okay, today I'm going to try to at least sell one thing, but I'm going to try with each client, right? So it was a 4-client day. First client, she comes for a facial. I do the facial. This is her second time coming in for a facial. And I'm like, okay, she's going over her concerns still. And I'm like, okay, it's because, like, explaining to her, like, you need the kit because the stuff that you're using at home, they're the reason why you're here, because they weren't working and stuff like that. She buys the retail for the whole skincare kit, right? I said, oh, okay. So I'm like, okay, like, okay, you guys, I got the first one. Okay. Second client comes in. She's a new client, but she's had lash extensions before. Typically, and this is the limiting part, so I want you guys to listen to this. But she comes in and she has had lash extensions before, and I typically just think like, okay, if you had lash extensions before, you probably already have a lash kit. I get done and I ask her, I said, okay, do we still understand aftercare and yada, yada, yada? And she goes, oh, no, oh, yeah, I don't have any lash shampoo. Perfect. So I suggest to her my kit, right? And the kit is like $20, right? And it comes with literally everything you need, from the fan, the lash shampoo, the eye mask, everything, right? She buys it. I said, oh, okay. Got it. Third client comes in. She gets a set, right? We do it, we finish it, and then she buys a kit. At the end of that day, I said, Arya, what have you been doing? And I want you to notice back where I said, like, this is a part that we make a mistake. We assume that we are not qualified for things, or that people already have certain things, and so we stop pursuing it or pursuing them to have the audacity, to tie it back in with the title, to expand, because we already assume that they have this, that, and the third. Us as humans need to stop assuming things about other people. It does no good to assume. Always look for a straightforward answer. Ask the question. Get actual clarity. So the thing is I've been assuming. Every single time somebody comes in for a new set, and they're a new client of mine, and as soon as I see on that consent form, they say, oh, I've had lash extensions before, I wipe my hands. I'm like, okay, they already have lash shampoo. I don't know who they went to before me. I don't know what they taught them. Obviously, they didn't like them enough, and they're coming here. So I need to assume, if I do need to assume anything, I need to assume that this is a first-time basis for them. They might not have been told the same things that I am about to tell them. I need to provide clarity to my clients. Why can't I sell? Like, why can't I give them something else? Why can't I make extra money from retail? Like, why can't I sell this membership? Or why can't I sell my lash courses or brow courses, or how to add in facials, or how to even grow your esthetician business? Also, it was a thing. This is actual thing with women. Like, we will underqualify ourselves so often. Like, I've been sitting on me starting the trainings for so long. And the crazy thing is that when my clients come in and I explain to them lash extensions, brows, and facials, they're like, you know a lot of information. I still remember when I had just barely started taking clients at my apartment, and one of my good friends, she had questions about her skincare, whatever. And I remember her asking me questions about her skin. And I like did this whole spiel, and like, mind you, I didn't even look it up on Google. Like, I just remembered it. And she was like, you should get paid for this. Like, you should get paid to do stuff like this. And that stuck with me so long. Like, every single time like I start to limit myself on expansion within my business, I kind of always remember that conversation. It's like God's trying to remind me, like, yeah, like, I kind of need you to get on this so that we can get further. Like, and I think we can all relate to that, because we will just simply tell ourselves no because we want to be so strategic, get everything together. My biggest success has came from me not having it together at first, right? So instead, figure it out as you go, but have the confidence and the audacity to take up space within whatever that is. I had that good sale or whatever that whole day. You know what I did? I took that money and invested it right back into my business. And I said, that's it. That is the last. Friday was my first day and my last day of thinking certain things aren't for me. I guess I'll give some steps on what I'm going to do as far as making it where I take up space. Actually, let me say that a little bit more confident, because I can't be just telling you guys and I'm like, maybe I'll do it. These are my steps that I am going to do to make myself take up space and have the audacity to win. Having the audacity to win. Okay, I'm doing this off of a whim. I did not script out this video. It was just kind of like, it was kind of shower thoughts for me, whatever. But anyway, maybe I'll make that like a little segment, like shower thoughts. Anyways, doing it before I tell myself no. Like, not even thinking twice. Like, today, I ain't gonna lie, your girl spent a pretty penny on investing back into her business, because, mind you, I bought all the stuff that I would need to kickstart me doing retail today. And then I also bought a sink for, like, a new sink for my suite as well. So the thing is like, I did not wait on it. I didn't want to look at the price. I did not want to look at, like, more details, because, mind you, I've been looking. This is not stuff, like, it's not like I just woke up one day, I was like, oh, okay, it's time for me. No, this has been things that I've been looking at. Like, this sink I've been looking at since I got in my suite almost 2 years ago. This exact same sink. No, we weren't thinking about it. Everything that was in my cart for retail, been thinking about it since the day I walked into that suite. There is no point to overthink it, right? So doing it before I tell myself no. Another thing that I want to do is I want to be a little bit more, obnoxious isn't the word. I'm not really sure what the word would be, but be a little bit more vulnerable, maybe? I don't know. Whatever word that's in between being obnoxious and vulnerable. I guess confident. I don't know. With posting for my podcast, I think I want it to look so perfect or look like other people's platforms, because I see that performing well. But the thing is, I gotta be in my own lane. I gotta be in my own lane. And I do want this podcast to grow. Like, this is my hobby that I have kept up with and I really enjoy doing. So I need to stick with that. So definitely being more confident with my posts. This one is probably the hardest, but this is literally going to get me to where I need to be. And that is actually having genuine conversations with people out in the public. And how I'm going to do that exactly is I'm going to start asking questions to people. Now, if you're reclining mine, you're probably like, girl, you be yapping. Yeah, I can do that because it's controlled by me. Like, the environment is controlled by me because it's mine, right? People I know, it's easier because obviously, like, I already know them. Like, the hard part's out the way. But getting comfortable with not judging if that person is going to add value or not as well. Because I really want to network. Like, networking is something I really want to get good at so that I can advance in my career. I can advance just in life in general and have my own circle of people to have. Like, I do have connections, but they're kind of very niched in like the beauty industry, and I would like to have some connections outside of that, you know. My goal is to go out for like the Thunder game, like during the week, because definitely not the weekend, but during the week, and find someone to chat with. Just like, even if it's like a small conversation, but literally something. And then also in the store too. And then at the gym. Oh, I have like such this persona in the gym. Like, I think everybody else thinks this about me, and I love that. Is and I've heard this from like friends and like other people who don't really know me personally like that. I have like this mysterious vibe. It's like, she's such a go-getter. She literally is like so like, you know, on top of things, but like you really don't really know what be going on. Like, until you actually have a conversation with her, you really don't know what day she's had. She's probably lived 50 million lives within one day, and she is on a mission. Like, if you need to talk to her, you need to make it quick and you need to make it clear, because she has things to do and she has places to go, someone to be, right? And so since I have that at the gym, it's so hard for me to talk to me about the gym. So luckily I have like seen a couple girls that I already knew, but my goal is to like go up to one of the girls that I have seen consistently in the gym and like maybe ask like what their workout is, or like where their set is from, or something. Like, try to find connections within what's in my circle now, so when I do finally move up to the higher circle that I want to be at, I have the skills. Like, still with having the audacity, there's a lot of practice and consistency behind that, like in discipline. So you can't just be like, oh, okay, like I'm just gonna, you know, just do this. Like, no, it has to be consistent. And this is a part that I think I fail at each year. It's like, I reach other goals, but the main ones that I really want to reach, they get put on the back burner because I'm always scared to talk. And that is what I'm not going to do. Like, I'm going to, like, why can't I end up meeting this person that, like, owns this huge company? Like, you know, like, why can't I end up getting invited to events that I never knew were in my city? Like, why can't I go and get flown out somewhere and they have me on a talk show? Like, why can't I just even drive the dream car that I want to drive? There is beauty in being like humble and being, you know, being okay with what you have and being smart with your money. Like, can I go buy me a pretty nice whip right now and, you know, whatever? Yes. But is it the one on the vision board? Absolutely not. And that's okay. That's okay that I'm not going to go out and do that, because I'm being smart with my money and putting it where it needs to be so that I can get what I really want, you know? That's okay to live like that for the most part. But there has to be a part where you take a chance, where you do change your luck, get out of your comfort zone, switch it around, switch up the routine, try something new, because that's when people really find themselves, is when they finally get out of that comfort spot. Yes, comfort is so comfortable for humans, but the real growth is when you get uncomfortable. If you ever looked at me and was wondering, like, how is she able to do so many things? It's because I'm constantly putting myself in a state of being uncomfortable. But it's not in a state of making my nervous system like crazy. Maybe this week, but also cycle. But anyways, for the most part, my mind is pretty clear. I used to have very severe anxiety when I was younger and like in high school and like early college days. But now I really don't deal with anxiety very often. I don't really clench my jaw. My mind isn't racing 24/7. And that did take a lot of work, but it's because like I'm consistently trying to chase after the woman I want to be. So I have to be uncomfortable for a while to be her, you know? And I do want to make a separate episode about how to be comfortable, like, within doing that, because, you know, that people, especially if you're in America, like, we really push, like, hustle culture really bad, but, you know, that's not very sustainable in the end. But yeah, that is my goal. Like, I think I want to come back like at the end of this month and update you guys on that, which more than likely I will have to update you guys on that through a video if I want, well, a podcast if like I want it to be good or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of all I had for you guys today about just taking a chance and having the audacity to win. I think sometimes we think people get things easy, but the thing is because those people are not afraid to take up space and be powerful in it. They're not afraid. If you ever wondered why, like that teacher's pet, they can get everything because they ask the teacher. They speak up. They say something. They don't sit there and stay quiet and think, oh, maybe somebody will notice me. I'm going to tell you, ain't nobody noticing nobody who's willing to stay small. They ain't doing that. If you're willing to stay small, ain't nobody noticing you. Ain't nobody checking for you. People get opportunities because they outside. They doing stuff. Stop staying in the house. Stop being in your own head and stay in your own comfort zone. Like, being small gets you nowhere. So be big, right? So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope this gave you guys some encouragement to go into the week and just take up space. Like, get what you need out of this week. Get what you need out of this life. And if you do not have that vision board up, I'm telling you right now, get it up. Get it up now. If you are not following the podcast on Instagram, make sure you guys follow us at poiseinprogress.pod on Instagram. And you will see some updates, see some little behind the scenes and everything like that. So, alrighty. And I hope you guys have a great week. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.